a message about maybe 45 minutes ago that you were ill.
Rebounding is a wonderful thing.
We need to know what you did.
Lots of echinacea and vitamins. How about that?
That's the best way, and rest too, right?
Absolutely, as they say.
That is perfect. We want to thank you so much for joining us and rebounding so quickly from whatever ailment that you were dealing with. Thankful to those vitamin B or B12 tablets you were taking.
And vitamin C.
All of the echinacea. I'm all about the echinacea, guys.
Perfect. And I'm guessing, the subject matter for tonight is 30 Days to Better Love, a guide for men. So,
right.
And Drexel, as we had this conversation, I want to let you know that Dr. Michelle is here and her family is here in the studio, and also her husband is here. So it's going to be an awesome topic with, kind of figuring out what do we do to put that spark back in that relationship.
And he's asking the question not for me, okay? just so you know.
Totally understand. It's interesting. My background is in journalism, and which is one of the reasons why I really wanted to rebound for you, because I know what it's like to have a guest cancel at the last minute. That's not a good thing. But and all of the stories that I covered in almost 30 years, I realized that it didn't matter if it was the story of the first New Year's baby or if it was a criminal or political story. Everything really, really in life comes down to relationships. And so I started just here and there gathering information as I went along, and I started observing marriages and partnerships that withstood the test of time and those that kind of faded away. And I just started talking to people and gathering research. And one of the things that I learned is that men and women who are involved in long-term relationships, they want these relationships to work. But life just kind of takes its toll. We stop holding hands and we start holding diaper bags and briefcases and book bags. And we stop watching sunsets. Start watching the stock market, and so we forget about those things that brought us together in the first place, that made everything pop and sparkle and be bright and made you want to just rush home to see your significant other at the end of the day. And so I put together this book, and literally it is 30 days of very simple and easy things that men can do to reach out and bring that spark back. Not that they've done anything wrong up to this point. It's just taking what you have and making it even better, or bringing back that love and passion that you had in the beginning. It could be something simple as sitting next to her when you watch television instead of sitting in your easy chair. I talked to a psychologist one time who told me that the physical distance that a couple displays is very indicative of the emotional distance. And I've watched that. I'm a people watcher, and it's true. You watch it and you see the couples who walk down the streets and each of them have their hands in their own pockets, or the couple that walks down the street with their arms lifted and she has her hand in his pocket and he has his hand in hers, the coat pocket. You know what I mean? So something as simple as that, or telling your wife, I love you. Yeah, she knows you love her, but she wants to hear it. Or holding her hand when you walk down the street, or opening the door for her, or dancing with her in the kitchen. It doesn't matter if you have two left feet, or if there's no music. Just pull her up next to you and dance with her. You never know what might happen.
Well, I was going to say, we're in the studio, and like Ted said, my family is here, but my husband is sitting at the other end of the table. But I don't think it's because we're having any issues. I think he's just trying to stay away from the mic so he doesn't start sneezing because allergies are kicking in.
Totally understand.
But then what do you suggest that we do? Because, in this day and age, everyone has to work. You have your children that you have to care for. What do we do?
Well, you have to be intentional about it. And that's what the whole 30 days part is about. Research will tell you that if we are given, not necessarily deadlines, but guidelines to follow, we're more likely to do that. No one wants to go on a 15-year diet. But you give me one for 30 days and I'll try to follow it. It's the same kind of thing. And if you get into a practice over 30 days, it will become a habit. I have one fella, in fact, he's a minister. He's about 32 years old, and he bought my book. And I said at a conference where I spoke. And the next year he came back up to me and he said, I've been doing your book every day for the last year. He goes, I just keep repeating it. And he said, it's made a huge difference because it's become a habit with him now. Little things you can do. My dad, who is in his 70s, since he was in, as long as I can remember, in his 30s maybe, he leaves a little sticky note on the coffee pot for my mom every morning. She gets up a lot later than he does. But when she gets up every morning, there's a little sticky note there that says, hey, sweetheart, I love you. Have a great day. Just something that small will tell your wife, I'm thinking about you. Even though I've got this busy day ahead of me. And yes, I'm going out and I'm doing what I do as the husband and the father in his family. But I want you to know that even when I'm inking a deal or I'm negotiating with a partner, you're on my mind, and I want you to know that. It doesn't have to be anything huge or big. The first thing that I suggest that men do is give your wife flowers every day for 30 days. They just about pass out when I say that. Then I tell them, it doesn't have to be a bouquet of roses. It might be a bouquet the first day. It might be a daisy the next day. You might draw a flower on a piece of paper and tape it to her mirror so she sees it when she goes to brush her teeth in the morning. Something like that every day reminds your wife, you are special to me. I love you. It's not rocket science, but it is intentional.
But this also sounds like tips that women can do for men.
Well, now that you mention it, 30 days of love, advice for women, will be out just in time for Valentine's Day.
All right.
Congratulations.
I do tell, it's a joke, but I say I just started where the need was greatest. But you know, sometimes guys just need a little jump start, and that's not saying anything negative about men. Men and women we're just made differently. We just are, and so sometimes, but women respond so well whenever their mate does step up and do these really sweet things. But yeah, I go after the women too.
So
And actually, following that, I have 30 days to better love a guide for parents, and I'm really excited about that one. I'm really excited about that one. It should be out before Easter, so I'm tickled to death about that one.
So a couple of questions, Drexel.
Sure.
Also, virtually in the studio is Rich Valdez, third member of our team. I guess, so one is a statement, one is a question. Statement number one, which is probably going to irk everyone off in here, but that's my job, is Dr. Michelle has had a healthy relationship and marriage for over 16 years. I've had a healthy relationship and marriage for 18 years, and Rich Valdez is at 26 years.
Congratulations.
My question to you is, your audience, is it more for the folks that are seasoned, or is it more for the folks that are kind of like newbies?
Oh, well, let one of my one of my readers read it. She was 18 months into her marriage,
Okay.
and her response was, this book is just as good for newlyweds as it is for the, as she put it, long newlyweds. If I would think that initially it would be for those who are in the middle of a long-term relationship, but if you read this book at the beginning of your marriage, and frankly, I have lots of people buy this as wedding gifts, and if you read this at the beginning of your marriage, it just helps establish these healthy, loving, intentional habits that will grow and nurture and sustain a loving and passionate and caring marriage for years to come.
Even if your team's not in the same place, your work can be. You just need Asana. Asana organizes work so teams know what to do, why it matters, and how to get it done. Try it for free at asana.com. That's ASANA.
Perfect. So, Rich, do you have a question? Because as You being
The elder of the group.
Okay. Well, my apologies for getting connected to your late night. I missed most of the conversation. So if I ask a question or make a statement that has already been asked, it is my fault. But so it sounds like from a relationship standpoint, it's more the question in general. What do you think is the most important thing to maintaining a stable and healthy long-term relationship?
I think the most important thing to maintaining and sustaining a healthy relationship is to be intentional and to understand that, yes, diapers, bills, washing the car, paying no mortgage, all of those things are a part of our daily life and part of our relationship. But the most important thing is putting your spouse at the top of that list. Before you make any decisions, before you get up and brush your teeth in the morning, roll over and hug that woman and tell her you love her with everything that's in you. She does not care if you have morning breath. She wants you to do that to her. So the most important thing is to make sure that your spouse knows that above everything, she or he is the most important thing in your life.
Sorry, I was chuckling, but the men here, were laughing and they were shaking their heads. No, let us not do that at all.
No, I can't.
I'm telling you. Just try it, my friend, and see what happens.
Drexel, so tell us this. I just received a copy of your book on Friday. So what I want to do is be able to have you back after we give it a good read so that we can dig a little bit deeper into your book and really, I guess build upon our various relationships. So what I need to know from you and what our listeners need to know is ways to purchase the book, ways to get in contact with you on social media, ways to find additional work, your website, everything else like that.
Awesome. Well, I used to just absolutely bless my mother out for the name that she gave me, but it's actually a fairly memorable name, so I've had to apologize to her. But basically, if you just go to my website, which is Drexel, Drexel, Gilbert, GILBERT.com, that'll get you everything you need to know. That will link you to my social media. That will link you to Amazon.com where my book is. That will link you to a direct purchase for the book at the website. It'll give you some videos of various conferences where I've spoken and any information that you need. That's really your best resource there. And I'll tell you what I'll do for you, Ted, if you'd like. I would be happy to send you a couple of pages, advanced pages from the Guide for Women, if you would like to peruse those before we speak the next time.
That would be perfect because I'll be the test case.
Awesome.
That sounds great. I want to definitely thank your PR team, Avery, for being in contact with us, even on a Sunday evening, reaching out, like I said, 45 to 50 minutes ago. So we're glad that you feel better and look forward to having you back on the show. So we want to thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me, and you guys enjoy it. I'm telling you, she's not going to mind the morning breath.
Thanks so much, Drexel.
Come on, kiss that woman.
All right. Thank you, Drexel.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.